I felt like I had done the American dream. You get married, you have the kids, you had the house, you got the car, and now I'm broke. So I Googled ways to make an extra $1,000 a month, and on a stay-at-home mom's website, it was, as an educator, which, you know, we all know that it don't take a lot for us to leave. When we look at how much we make, people ask me, like, how do you balance things? That is not a goal. My goal in life is not to be balanced. My goal in life is to have peace.
Love it.
And if you are in a classroom, and then no matter how good you are, if that isn't bringing you peace at night, if that's going to help you live long enough to see your children's children, and that's a goal of yours, then who are you really serving by being there stressed out? So
exactly.
Every teacher who listens to this, like, I am by no means trying to pull people away from being teachers in the classroom, but
well, hello, wonderful educators. This is Jill Waters, your Oasis mentor, and I am beyond excited for our special guest today. She is an educator. She is an entrepreneur. She is a coach. I'm going to say she's a coach, and I believe that she is, absolutely. And she is going to share with us today not only her very inspiring story, but she's going to share with us today not only how did she get to where she was, but she's going to also talk to us about some ways and some things that we can do. Because guess what? As educators, if anybody, as educators, we deserve to be wealthy. And,
Amen.
and we're going to talk about that today. I think a lot of educators in general, we just talk about, you know, our paychecks, and we're living from month to month or every 2 weeks, paycheck to paycheck. And there's just a better way. And we're going to talk about that today. So welcome, Miss Christi Farmer.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
And I love it. And audience, just so you know, so I've known Christi for years. And when I worked with Christi, she was an academic coach. And gosh, you were so great. You helped me out so much. You taught me so much.
Teacher. You were easy to help.
I was very teachable because I had no idea what I was doing. I was so grateful for the help. I had come from private school, and those were my first experiences in public school. So I was so nervous, and you were so helpful to me. And then I remember you went to a different school because you got promoted to be an assistant principal. But when I knew Christi, just like in the military, you know, as educators, we call each other by our last names. So she was Crump to me. I was Graham to her. We're both remarried, have different last names, but I'm going to try my best to call her Christi. But if you hear Crump come out or if you hear Graham come out, that's what that's about. And there it is. So thanks again for being here. I want to start off just by, I've already done the introduction, but just tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I am still an educator. I think once it's in you, just use it in different areas. A business coach, like you said. I'm a mom of 2 seniors and a 4-year-old. Yes, you heard that right. I have 2 18-year-olds that are headed to, and a bonus mom, so I only birthed one. But I'm a bonus mom of the other, and they're both headed to their seniors. So they're both headed to college this next year.
Wow.
4-year-old who is, they're all blessing, but this 4-year-old is definitely a blessing for sure. I finally got one like me. So if any parents out there, you know, like, you love them all the same, but when you get that one that's like you like, I hit the jackpot. So I'm a wife, and the funny thing was I've been in one business for, actually, in this month, it'll be 13 years this month.
Yeah.
And so in 13 years, I was started off as Waller, which is my maiden name. I started when I was married. So I started as Crump, and then I got divorced, and I went to my maiden name, which was Waller, while I was in that business. And then I got remarried, which is Farmer. So depending on who I'm talking to, who's been in business with me those years, they'll be like, what's the name again? So it's like a running joke, but that's life, right? Like it's the
Absolutely.
true trajectory of 13 years in business and what has happened, which is why I hold nothing against anybody. Like life is going to happen. And it's just part of your
Absolutely.
story. There's no
Hmm.
reason to feel bad about it. It makes you who you are. So over a decade in education, I was a teacher, like you said, then I was a coach of teachers, and then I was assistant principal, and then I told them they could have their job back. My business made more money than my assistant principal pay, and I was like, I don't have to be here anymore. So now I was a full-time business owner for 6 years, and I just recently took a position as a college instructor or professor where I teach early
Wow.
childhood to dual enrollment students, and then also just regular full-time college students. So some who are in high school taking education courses, and then just people who are going back to school for education, early childhood. So in that 6 years, I have coached adults on how to build profitable e-commerce businesses. That's what I've done in my business. And then I like to help people basically unlock their potential. Like hearing I can't, or I don't know how. I'm okay with I don't know how. It really like gets under my skin when people say they can't.
Yes.
Because really the only reason you can is because you're saying it, and then you operate
Mhm.
that. You
Absolutely.
know it or not. So that
Absolutely.
I like unlocking people's potential, and I think that comes from being a teacher, and that's what elementary school, that's what we really do with early, like they just
Absolutely.
don't know what they don't know. They're babies, and we're here to
Yeah.
really shape their future and how they see things. And now I do that for adults, and it's really no different.
Love that.
And so now I lead a community in a wellness, a thriving wellness community is what I lead right now. So I help people not just with their mind, but their body and their soul, and how it's all connected. And my
Love that.
hashtag is I aspire to inspire. So I aspire to live a life that through just being around me, and like that quote that goes around, like, you can't be around me. I think I forget what it is, but like, if you're around me, I'm going to change you. Like, this is just the way it is. So but I live a life that if you're
Mhm.
around me, you're either going to feel bad for not living up to your potential because you're around me, or you're going to start living up to your potential. Like, one of those things is going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And one of the questions I was going to ask you is what inspired you to transition from education into the business world or entrepreneurship? But you pretty much just answered that question. You were like, "Hey, this income is out incoming. This incoming is out incoming the other income. So you know what? I think I'm gonna head over there. Peace
And
out."
you know what I realized is that it didn't, as an educator, which we all know that it don't take a lot for us to leave when we look at how much we make. And so what I really did that last year, I lived off my business for a full year.
Wow.
So my
Hmm.
entire assistant principal pay for one full year went into a bank account.
That's
And the thing
amazing.
is, when I looked at how much was in the bank account, I was like, it really wasn't any money. I think honestly, I think it was like $35,000 for a
Wow.
whole year as an assistant.
Yeah,
And it's because, like, on paper, I was making, I think, 65 or 70, but
absolutely.
after
Yep.
taxes, after
Yep.
healthcare, after all those things come out, what really came home to my bank account was like $35,000.
You're right.
Like,
Wow.
now, was that my number? My number was, I'm gonna leave when my business makes three times what my sister. That was my number, three times.
That's
I didn't
amazing.
leave when it was three. When it may have done, I think I was bringing so six figures a year. I made $8,000 a month,
That's
and I was
amazing.
like, I'm out. Because my thought process was like, if I could do this while I'm working full time, then imagine what I could
Hmm.
do if I didn't have this job I had to show up to every day. And as an
Yeah.
AP, like, sometimes as a teacher you may not see it, but
Yes.
and teachers work all the time too. And y'all, so I feel like sometimes they feel like, well, they ain't doing nothing, but baby,
Yes.
when they hand you those keys and that code to the alarm system, I was there on
Mhm.
Sundays prepping for testing. I was coming
Hmm.
on Saturdays. Like,
Yeah.
it ain't greener on the other side. I'm telling
I
you.
know. I think a lot of people don't realize that. I haven't been an administrator as far as a principal, but I've been a director of a childcare center for some years. I was a director of Childcare Network. And listen, yeah, the teachers had no idea how much it takes to run a school. It's crazy. I was there from 5 in the morning till a lot of times 5 and 6 at night. And same thing, and you take it home too. Like if something had like I could just go home or a teacher could call and say, "Hey, they didn't pick this child up," or something, like it was always a thing. So yeah, I totally get that. I remember when we were at the school we were at, you would bring this beautiful jewelry. You would bring this beautiful jewelry to the building and you would sell it and it was like $5. And I would be like, $5, this is it. So I would buy jewelry and all the teachers would buy jewelry. And we would have like, say at a holiday party, you would pull out this little thing that had like all the jewelry on it. And then you would have little signups like, hey, if you're interested in, in a business opportunity, let me know. Or if you're interested in, getting some free jewelry, it was something like that. Now understanding the business side of things, I say, okay, Christy, I see you. See you trying to create that funnel. I see you. I love it. But yeah, can you talk a little bit more about your actual businesses? Because I think they would be really interested to see what you actually do, the actual business side of things. And then what was that time period from when you started where you were just like, hey, because I think you said, I've heard you say this before, you told me this many times. You were just like, I just want to make $1,000 a month. If I could just make $1,000 a month doing this kind of side gig thing, I'm good. So can you talk about like that time period and then what specifically do you do? What's your business?
Gotcha. Okay. So it actually happened. I was furloughed as a teacher. I was teaching second grade at the time, and I was already tutoring after school, making, I think it was like $25 an hour. But it's great money an hour, but there's only so many hours after school you can do it. It was like Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we were really only making an extra $100 a week. And I just didn't have any more time, but I needed more money. Yeah. And so I Googled ways to make an extra $1,000 a month. That was literally my Google in 2012. Because that's when the housing market had, basically crashed. People were losing their homes. And I don't think people understood how people paying their home taxes goes into the school system to pay us. And so when people were losing homes and weren't paying their home taxes, then that was causing a deficit in the school budget. And so then the school was like, and it happened like in 2008. Well, it finally caught up to the school systems in like 2012. And they were like, we got to furlough y'all. Like, we got to cut your pay. Or really, it was like, give you days off. But it was like, but these days off means I'm not making any money. Exactly. So I was like, well, I'm sitting at home. Like, because they had what days, we knew what days were coming up. So like in May, you may not, or April, or like it was certain days you're going to have off. And I'm like, well, I'm here. Yeah. I'm not getting paid at my job. I need to make money during this time. So I Googled ways to make an extra $1,000 a month. And on a stay-at-home mom's website, it was $5 jewelry. Now, I by no means was a jewelry person. Like I taught elementary kids. Like I was a teacher who was sitting on the floor with kids. So I wasn't waking up every morning trying to match my necklaces and earrings with my outfits. It just didn't happen. I would just go like on Fridays. I was in my early 30s then. I was 29. So on Fridays or Saturdays, like going out with my girlfriends, yes. But even then, I didn't have any money. So like going out with girlfriends, like I'd eat at home. I'd pregame at home. So when I went and met them downtown Atlanta, I was just like hanging out, but I wouldn't buy anything. I couldn't afford the food. Wow. The money paid my bills. And that was a blessing because I never had a story where we couldn't have paid bills or we couldn't have, but I just never had money for anything extra. And I had a master's degree and I just didn't believe that was a life I was meant to live. I've always said to myself, like, you're smart. I've always been the top of the class. I've always like excelled. Why am I broke? It just didn't make sense to me. I felt like I had done the American dream. You get married, you have the kids, you had the house, you got the car, and now I'm broke. Like that's not the journey. That's not the way it looked when that's not the way I understood it to be. So some of the things that came up on the website was like, and this is how it shows how long ago it was you could wake up at 4:00 in the morning and put the newspapers in a little plastic bag if it was raining, and you could throw the newspapers at that probably doesn't even exist. Does anybody even do that anymore? I don't know. But I don't think so. Back then it was an option. But I had a 5-year-old and I was like, I just can't wake up at 4:00 in the morning and then still teach all day. And then like, I just can't do that. And that was a problem for me. Like I had a master's degree. Husband, kids, education's supposed to be a good job. So, we weren't like living above our means. And this is where furlough got in the way because we had money in the bank. But when you're making less money, but your student loans don't care nothing about that, and your rent don't care nothing about that, and your car note don't care nothing about that, they're like, okay, you're making less money, but you still owe us. So we started to pay those things. So the little savings we had was like leaving too fast. Yes. So anyway, it led to my Google search. I found it on a stay-at-home mom website. My thought process really was, I have enough friends and family that, and I'm back, I don't use the word anymore, but back then, definitely an introvert. Like I don't do small talk, and that's still true today. Like, I will talk to you about what we need to talk about, but that just talking just to be talking, that's not me. So as a teacher, I wasn't the person around the water cooler. Like, I only came out my classroom to go order my food, to make the copies, and then I was headed back to my classroom to do my job. So I didn't even know whatever was going on outside my classroom. I didn't know it, but I was like, I started looking around, and everywhere I went, people were wearing costume jewelry. Like, I'm in a building full of women. Yeah. They have kids, they have daughters, granddaughters. Like, I just started doing the math in my head. I'm like, make $1,000 sharing this $5 jewelry. So it was never a love of jewelry. Like, there are a lot of people who do this and they love the jewelry. That was my thing. It was just like, I saw dollar signs when I was at the grocery store. Like, those are earrings, those are necklaces she's wearing. You know, her daughter's getting married. Like, I started actually listening to people have small talks. I'd be in faculty meeting and, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, my daughter. Oh, she's gonna need jewelry for that. Like,
I love it. Yeah.
Really how it grew. And it is a multi-level marketing. And I know people have different things to say about multi-level marketing, but the way it worked perfectly for me. And I, as an educator, I made sure I educated people about what it is and what it isn't. And in every industry, there's good and bad players. Like, you can talk to a teacher right now who's going to say, my school system sucks, but you'll talk to another teacher in the same system and thinks it's the best system since sliced bread.
Yes.
So it worked for me. And anybody who's attached to me, I educated them so that it would work for them. But we all know how education works. You can teach all the kids in the class what to do, but is everybody going to do it? No. So the same is true in business. I definitely teach people what to do, but you can bring them to water. You can't make them drink. Or you bring them to water and they drink, but they decide they want to drink out of a wine glass. And you're telling them that the only way this is going to work if you drink out the plastic gray one.
Absolutely.
So there's that. So I did it for 13 years. I made the $1,000 a month, and I was like, oh, that's all you got to do? Wow. So I was like, well, let me bump that up to 3,000. And I made it $3,000. And I was like,
wow.
And when I say that's it, it's not that that's it, but it's almost like if I relate it to like being a teacher and you come out the college and you're all, oh, this is going to be good. We're gonna love the kids. And you get in there and you do the work and you realize like, okay, we're going to, that ain't work. That didn't work with these kids. I went to undergrad at Valdosta, Georgia. Valdosta State was the country.
Oh, that's where my daughter goes.
I love it. Go Blazers. And my first job was in Chicago Southside. Valdosta did not prepare me for Chicago Southside. Did they teach me how to teach? Oh, I knew how to teach. Like, no problems at all. But they didn't explain to me that when you teach a lesson on fairy tales and you're trying to relate it to what you think kids know, that these kids had no idea what a castle was.
No.
And so there was no relating like, hey, you guys, when you watch Aladdin, they're like, what's Aladdin?
Yes.
So the first thing was like, all right, tomorrow, bring to school some movies that you watch. Because back then they still had the,
VHS,
like VHS, yeah. So they were actually bringing in, and these kids were bringing in rated R, like they had never seen. I was like, okay, so I'm going to have to teach you the basics before we even get started on this theme of fairy tales, because you don't understand anything they're talking about. Wow. Castles is foreign to you. The corner store.
Exactly. That's incredible. Wow.
It's literally the same thing with business for me. And I think that's one of my gifts, is that I can help people wherever you're at in life. I can make it relatable to what we need to accomplish, whatever that is. Yeah. So that's been my success with selling jewelry. Like I said, I did it for 13 years, and it's given me confidence to do a lot of other things. And my daughter's 18, so I'm actually about to put in to transfer that business to her and move on to other stuff.
Wow. So I love that. Look at that. Now you're talking about legacy now. So even though, now I'm loving this because you talked about that American dream. You go to college, you have the family, you do the things. Your daughter's still going to college, doing her thing, and yet you are now working on training her or transferring the business to her, correct?
Yeah, so she's been with me doing this. Like, I have pictures at 5 years old when we were outside at vending events, and she had her little pull-up lawn chair beside me, and we had a little girl's jewelry line. So that was her thing. Like, we would set it up on her little table next to my big table, and if people start asking questions, she would literally like give me the side eye, like, I got this. Don't answer for me. And she would tell the people about her accessories and stuff.
Wow.
So it is really legacy building, and it's a beautiful thing that now she's old enough. And the funny thing was, I remember when I started when I was 30 saying, if I had this when I was younger, I've always been a hustler. Like I have always done, even since the beginning of time, I've always done side things. They would jokingly in college call me a Jamaican because I had all the jobs on campus. Like I worked in the infirmary, checking students in for what all kind of stuff they had on their chart, but I couldn't tell anybody. I was like, oh, you dating her? Oh, okay. But I couldn't tell anything, it was confidential. But I was also in the dean's science building, the dean of science building, and I would work the front desk there. I was also working in the dorms. I would check students in and out for dorms. So the people were like, so I've always been a person who made extra money. And there was, if I wanted it, I always believed I could get it. I just didn't quite understand the concept of doing it full time. I always thought you needed to have a job and you just make extra money on the side. And I was just willing to bet on myself and say, because you know what I said, education would always take me back.
Yeah.
And it did. I'm a professor now, so it still took me back.
That's amazing. Yeah.
But yep, education, when you're a good teacher, if we're just being honest, you don't have to be good. If you're certified, I hate to say it, but if you're certified, you can get a job.
You're in there.
Now, when you're good, you can get a job and you can get a good one. You have choices. You can go to the school that doesn't have as many problems or has more support or that separates just getting any job as opposed to a good position, being under because great leadership makes a difference. We all know that. So, but that was what I did. I was like, worst case, what's the worst that can happen, Christi? You leave and you got to come back?
Yes.
Well, I'd come back better because I've had life experiences.
Exactly. So what are some of the skills that you had or that you received as being an educator or administrator that translated into being a business owner?
So I think it's like what I tell my students, because in dual enrollment, not everybody that signs up for early childhood dual enrollment classes has any interest in being a teacher. Like some of them they want to go to be in business, and they want to go and be physicians. But I said in all of those, you're going to come in contact with children and people. And I think that's what has helped me is I understand from the basics of learning like Piaget theory and how people learn and their Maslow's, different law and the bare minimum they need to have like food. They
hierarchy of need. Yes,
or even I guess that's not coming to me right now, but where the lowest level of learning is like knowledge, where you're just facts, and the higher level is being able to do analysis. Like those things work in real life.
Yeah, that's good.
So when I'm teaching people, like the knowledge level about e-commerce or about business, about selling jewelry, or about having a home party, or, about the wellness journey. It's basics of knowledge. And it's like, if you know the knowledge, there's a certain amount of information you can teach people. But then you have to take it to, this is why I don't get frustrated, dogs. I'm like, oh, so you're not at the level of being able to analyze this. All you know is facts. So facts don't necessarily help you when it's time to pivot. Pivots require you to be able to analyze the situation and understand that just because it's red and blue doesn't mean it's going to work when it's snowing outside. And, you have to be able to analyze the situation, but then you realize like, oh, y'all not there yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm talking above your head. Okay, let me take you through these levels. Like that level of understanding makes you a better business person. It makes you, I was explaining to kids, it makes you a better physician. It will put you above these classes that you're taking for free. Will put you above someone who's a physician who doesn't understand that this mom is giving them a difficult time because she doesn't even know where her next meal is going. And you're trying to talk to her about giving her kids vitamins.
That's it. Yeah. That's good.
So she's not being difficult about, she don't want to, because, some people walk away and be like, she don't even care about her kids. She don't want to give them vitamins.
Yeah.
Situation. She doesn't even know how they're going to eat tomorrow, let alone add on some vitamins.
Yes.
But that's what you learn as a teacher. Like, it's the reason we give kids free and reduced lunch is because they have to have food first before we try to teach them
Absolutely.
other things. Otherwise, they're in class thinking about their
Yeah,
stomach.
absolutely.
Because they didn't get
Yeah.
sleep at night. You know, like, so those basic things I think have really helped me. And that's, I mean, it's one of the things that people say, like, you're a really good teacher, Christy. And I almost like the title, like, I don't want to be a teacher.
It's in you. It's in you.
It's in
You're
you.
just a teacher at different modalities or across different platforms, but like you said, it's just in you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's in every teacher who listens to this. Like, I am by no means trying to pull people away from being teachers in a classroom.
Yeah.
But peace, one of the things that I talk about, we always talk about, people ask me, like, how do you balance things? That is not a goal. My goal in life is not to be balanced. My goal in life is to have peace.
Love it.
And if you are in a classroom, and then no matter how good you are, if that isn't bringing you peace at night, if that's going to help you live long enough to see your children's children, and that's a goal of yours, then who are you really serving by being there stressed out? So
exactly.
I'm not saying leave the classroom if that's your thing. I'm just saying make the best of it. Or if you're only there because, I mean, it's a guaranteed check. Like, you really got to do some horrible stuff.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, you're right though, but you're right. Yeah.
Job as a teacher. So it's as secure as it can be, but bet on yourself. Believe in yourself. The same thing that a lot of people cannot do as a teacher, you're doing.
Yes.
So you can take that same knowledge, that same ability, and put it anywhere. If, like I said, I'm not trying to pull teachers away, but if you're not happy, if you are not at peace, then more. God didn't give us these talents to suffer in a place that is not feeding. And that was one of my things too, is I realized, like, I have more to give the world than this one school building.
That's good.
And I knew my goal of leaving, yes, it was money was able to get me out of there. But once I was out, I realized that I could help more kids, honestly, if I started with their moms.
Wow.
And so that's what I spent these last 6 years as a full time, is helping moms with their mindset. If I can help a mom with it, because we do all we can at the schoolhouse, but who do they go back to?
Yes.
Their parents who don't believe in themselves, that pass that same non-belief onto the kids who come to our class, and we're trying to tell them that you're great and you could be all these things. And they go back home to a parent that, even if they're not necessarily saying it out their mouths, like, kids can read our lack of confidence.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They feel our lack of self-esteem. So that's really what I've been. Now, it translated into great money in business, but I really spend more of my time teaching mindset to grown women.
Yeah, I love that.
You can be and you can do. And, I mean, and literally what it comes down to, like, mindset is, somebody said to me the other day, is I just won't be able to get anybody to, or what is it, like, it's hard to, or I can't, I was something to the fact that I can't get anybody to do a membership. And I say, well, you can if you believe you can.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The moment you say that I can, then you start thinking about ways that you can do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so, I mean, that's what it's, jewelry is the physical, tangible thing, but it's not about the jewelry. The jewelry helps put me in front of a lot of women, and the wellness helps put me in front of a lot of women, and now a lot of men, a lot of families. But that's just the vehicle I use to help people generational. Like, my goal is, if I can change you, I'm not just changing you, I'm changing your kids, because now your mindset is different in your household. How you speak to the people at your job changes because you listen to me.
Yeah, I love that. I was thinking about, it's a saying that says, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. Yep. It's whatever you think, that is what you are. You are correct. Once you say it and you believe it, everything in your mind, spirit, body, the cells, everything, it starts shifting to your thoughts and your thinking. Everything. I was going to ask you, how important is mindset in business? And there it is. You just wrote, I literally wrote down, and then as I was writing down, how important is mindset in business? And wow, look at you.
And everything in life, period. What was it? It was a scripture, and definitely not the Bible quoting, but I keep people around me who are. So whenever I say something, I'm like, now y'all know the scripture. What is it? And they'll drop it in the comments or, send me a message or whatever. But it's going to come back to me. And I was like, oh, I'm going to talk about this tomorrow because this is so appropriate. But it's going to come back to me.
But if you think about it, the one I think about is whatsoever a man thinketh, so is he. That's one of them. But if another one comes to your mind, you let me all the renewing of your mind. You want about if you renew your mind and all the good stuff. So let me ask you this question, because I know you talked about having peace in the classroom, and not all teachers. You're not necessarily trying to say, hey, we're trying to pull all the teachers out of the classroom, because some there are enjoying it, or that that's their calling. So even if you're like Christi, I have peace. I have peace in the classroom. I love being a teacher, and that's what I want to do. Should that teacher, or do you feel like even that teacher should still have some type of business or extra stream of income?
If it's not providing what they think they should have financially for themselves and their family, because I don't believe in lack.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't believe that we should be struggling. I don't believe that that's some badge that we need to wear, that you're being a good person, and because you're being a good person, it's okay to be without. No, I think this, because you're a good person, you shouldn't be without. Mm-hmm. So I'm not necessarily saying that, a side business or a side hustle is the thing to do, but whatever you're good at is monetizable.
Absolutely.
And I say that because I use ChatGPT and AI, like I'm a big fan of it. And somebody had posted like a prompt to put in there so ChatGPT can tell you about yourself. And it only works if you use it. Like they have to, ChatGPT or AI have to get a rhythm of what, but I use it for like, I have area for my toddler, my teenager, like my husband, my job. Like it knows me and I'm okay with it. So I asked it, and one of the things that it said to me was, stop giving things away for free. Wow. So I just freely give up information, right?
Wow.
And I'm like, it's the truth. Like if I was to think about all the classes and the things that I just give away for free, just free knowledge. And what part of the thing behind that too is I realize the truth in that, because when you give things for free, people don't take it seriously. And if I really want people to change their lives, if I charge them for it, what happens when you charge and they spend people money for it, they want to do something with it because they don't spend their money.
Yeah.
So it's almost like if I really believe that people need to change by the things that I'm sharing, I'm doing them a disservice, not by charging them, because they won't do anything with it. But when you put $5,000, and I'm not saying I'm going to charge $5,000, but when you put, I've done this, I paid $5,000 to be a part of a mastermind. And I paid $10,000 to be a part of a mastermind. And I promise you, I'm going to get all my money's worth.
Absolutely.
Every assignment, y'all say. And I put the money down. So I know this to be true personally. But if I had gotten that same information for free, I wouldn't have done all that stuff.
It's not the same. Yeah.
I'd saved it for later. I'll get back to this later, or that's a great email. But no, when you put money down stuff, you're like, I need to see the results of this because I need my money back.
Absolutely. I love
that. I'm saying that to say everybody has talents.
Yes.
Classroom, there's something that you're really good at that people are always coming to you for. And for whatever that is, monetize it. We are literally in the day and time that if you want money, there's no reason why you can't have it.
Literally.
No reason.
Correct.
I mean, AI will literally, you just tell it, you say, you know what, I'm good at baking, but I work 7 to 5 teaching third grade students, and I'm the grade chair, and I have an 8-year-old at home who does basketball, a 5-year-old at home who does soccer, and my husband works these hours, and we live in Conyers, Georgia, in a 3-bedroom, 2-bed. I mean, literally, if you just and give it all this information and say, but what I really want to do is figure out in this time frame with all these things I'm responsible for, how can I build a baking business that'll make me an extra $500 a month? And it will write up the plan.
It will.
Now, the problem comes in is it don't matter how great the plan is if you don't take action on it.
Absolutely.
So we can get rid of all the excuses. Like, I don't have
Yes.
time. I don't know how. I know I'm
Yes.
great at baking, but I'm not a fan. ChatGPT is going to take away all those excuses for it. The more information you give it about your life, the more you can say, I'm 45 and I have diabetes. So I have to take my insulin on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6. It's going to put that in the plan for you.
Amazing. I love it.
The next step is, what will you do with it? What action? Because all that great plan that it created for you means nothing if you don't do anything with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what I would tell a teacher who this is their calling, they love it, but they're, living paycheck to paycheck. Is you can find a way to make extra. And you know what the reality is, statistically, only thing people, and I say only very loosely because it's a lot to a lot of people, is $500 makes the difference between most Americans losing their home and not losing their home.
Wow.
Extra $500 a month.
Wow.
And so put that in. And what happens when you master a 500, like putting in 10,000, that's my number now. Like if I put in anything in the ChatGPT, my number is 10,000 because I know how to make 5. I know how to make 1,000 in my sleep. But if I want to make an extra 10,000 a month, that's my number. But if I haven't made $1,000 a month extra, then that 10,000, not your number. Start at 5. And it's easier to make 500 and then duplicate it and then triple it and then, go from there. So that's what would be my advice to a teacher is, I'd say find out what you're great at. And if you don't know, there's free quizzes. Like put into Google, I don't know what I'm good at. Give me a quiz to take to figure out what I'm good at. Pick A, B, C, D, and it's going to tell you.
Exactly. And a lot of times you'll know too, people will tell you, like, you always do this and you're so great at this, or can you help me with this? If you have a lot of people asking you advice about certain things, or guess what? If you're just an excellent educator, guess what? You can teach other educators how to do even if it's in education, or you're great with bulletin boards, or you're great with lesson plans, or you know how to do these great worksheets. It could even be in education, but because everybody's different, even if it is something that you've seen before. You're like, oh, somebody's already done that though. But because you're different, you have your own spin on it. Then it could be different. You are right. You can monetize anything. I realized, girl, when I got my first check from doing the professional development, I was like, wait a minute. And from YouTube and all the things, right? And I heard Myron Golden, I believe that's his name.
Yes.
He said,
are you picking up what I'm putting down? That's what Myron Golden said.
Yes, he does. And he said, that's what he said after that. When I realized people would pay me for talking, to give them information. And that's like you said, that's the day and age that we're in. Like, just giving people what you already know. It could be your life experience. It could be what you overcame. Usually what you overcome, that is your thing. Like if you overcame an addiction, or if you overcame poverty, or, hey, I have a child that has this certain disability and these are the things that I did with my child. Or, I mean, what is your struggle that you overcame, or what are you good at?
And the key is to overcome. Nobody wants to pay for your current problem. They only want to pay for what you have come through. That's where the money. So when you think about, like, I went through this, you made it over it. Now tell people about it. That's your story. That's your gift. It's going to help a lot of people. And I promise you, and here's the thing, it don't take a lot. You can charge people 10 people for $25 and you've made $250. And you do that one time each week. One time each week, you charge 10 people $25 and you've gone home with $1,000 at the end of the month.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I realized too is, like you said, the digital products are incredible. You don't even have to have products like on the shelf anymore. If that's not, like, I know you do jewelry and things, but it's like you can make ebooks and little pamphlets and, hey, this is this toolkit or this merchandise, and you got a whole company shipping these things out, or they can press a button and it's like, boop, buy it, go to their email. It's so many different ways now that it is, like you said, it's really, other than just not doing it, it's no excuse. And I know there's a fear, because when you're done that fear, fear kept me back for a long time. It kept me back for a long time because I was like, Jamina, what are you doing? Who wants to hear you talk about blah, 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 blah? Or I would like, what are people going to say? They're going to be like, she thinks she's all that, or who is this? Like that
And you
imposter syndrome.
are. Like, the thing is, you are. That's what kills me about. I'm like, but you are. Like, people are gonna. No matter what you do, someone is gonna have something to say. Now, what I say is, are you gonna let them have something to say and you're broke, or are you gonna let them have something to say and you're getting paid? They're gonna say something. Which side of this are you gonna be on?
Absolutely.
I'm choosing to let them talk and not be broke.
Yes. And I love your mindset too, your money philosophy that poverty does not equal good in humility. And at the same time, money does not equal greed
or manipulation
and evil. That's not it. So I love that. I want to talk to you about the importance of mentors. So I heard you say mastermind. I'm not sure if our audience knows about what masterminds are, because you talked just a little bit about, if you had mentors, and then if you did, like how important were they in your growth, and then would you encourage others to have mentors?
So yes, it's funny. I'm reading this book now. I think it's called The One. And one of the things it said in one of the recent chapters I listened to is no one has accomplished anything without a mentor. Nobody has done it alone. And they mentioned some people like Oprah Winfrey, and how one of the guys, she was, I forget who it was, but she was talking to him early on in her career, and he said, stop going to get someone to like an agent. You create it. And that's how the Oprah, her own production started. She was advised, like, stop getting other people. You create it. You started. And so mentorship is very important. Now, here's the beautiful thing about the time that we live in right now is you don't necessarily have to have, like, I have lots of what I call virtual mentors, right? So I look at people who are where I want to be, and not just financially, but I also look at personality type, because to me, it doesn't make sense for me to follow someone who's living the lifestyle that I want to live, but they have this big bubbly personality and they're all nice and, warm and fuzzy. I'm not nice, warm and fuzzy. Like, that's just not, I'm not going, it just is a waste of time for me to spend my energy trying to change to something that just, it's not. Or this is what it is. It's black and white. Let's get it done, or not. Like, you can choose whatever you want to. Just if you're choosing not, I'm over here on the side of we're choosing to. Okay, so you come meet me over here, or but choices. So I follow people who are living the kind of lifestyle that I want to live, making the kind of money that I want to make. Yeah, there are some people, like in my jewelry business, who they spend all their time working. I believe in working smarter, not harder. I do not want to spend all my waking moments on social media selling jewelry. Yeah, that's not my life goal. Like, my life goal is to be behind the scenes helping other people, and I'm like living my best life, anywhere in America or the world. Like, that's how I want to do it. If I have to be stuck in front of a camera making money, that's not how I want to live. Now, some people do. They physically want to work, physically work. What I like to work is my brain, not my hands. Absolutely. So I'd say get mentorship that matches the kind of lifestyle and the way that you want to live. And then, like I said, virtual. So there's no reason for me to, like, this is my personality. I don't necessarily need some, like, accountability. I don't do the kind of, because people are like, can you be my accountability partner? No. That's why my hashtag is aspire to inspire. Like, I inspire people. Like, I hold you accountable by the things that I do. Yes. Not by calling you at 6 p.m. every day and say, hey, let's talk about what we did today. That doesn't work for me. Yes. But what I do is make sure I put myself in rooms. And when I say rooms, these are Facebook groups. These are conferences. These are masterminds. So, like, one of the mastermind I paid, I think it was $10,000 for, was I was at the bottom of the totem pole. So I was a multiple 6-figure earner, but there were multiple 7-figure earners in there. Got you. And when people were standing up and, like, what their checks were, And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, you're probably less normal. If I'm being judgy, you're probably less normal than I am, which makes me like, so what am I here doing? I can do this. That takes off my thought process of like, because sometimes we have these visions of people when we think like they're this way and that's why they got this and I'm not that way, so I can't have it too.
That's good.
So, but when you put yourself, and they're not just on a screen, you put yourself in a room with people and you hear like them talk or you hear their backgrounds, and it's not because they had 2-parent household, and it's not because they grew up in a house, and it's not because they're they've only been married once, they've actually been married 4 times. Like all the things that we think are the reason why we can't, when you get in rooms with people who have, and you realize like, what's my excuse? Because I ain't deal with none of that. Or, what's my excuse? Because I've come through way times more than that. So why can't I come through this too? So I highly recommend mentorship. The right mentor will have you believing that you can do 10 times what you think you can do.
Absolutely.
And they will show you like your blind spots. They'll say to you, they're like a counselor that's going to ask you questions and that's going to have you like, you're right. Like, why can't I do that?
Exactly.
Or, so you can pay for them. Or you're going to pay something is what I say. Absolutely. So you're either going to pay your time or pay your money. So money gets you indoors sometimes quicker than time. What I mean by time is like, you may not have made the 6 figures to be able to just be invited to the 6-figure room, to be invited to dinner with people who made 6 figures. So sometimes you have to pay the money to be in the room with the 6-figure people, right? Or sometimes you have to pay your time to build up yourself, because nobody who I haven't met, there might be some, but 7-figure earners aren't trying to spend their time trying to tell you that you can do things.
Yes.
They want you to know that you already can, and you're just looking for that little bit of information that you're meant to do it. But they're not sitting there like, but girl, just wake up. And girl, they're not doing that. So there's a certain level of working on yourself, and then you get somebody who can help you with that, who's, who that is their mission, is to help that where you're at. And then you give back. But then you offer, like there's levels to what I offer. There's free things. And then there's, next level up, because I'm not giving that for free. And then there's the next level up because, so there's level to things. But yes, mentorship by the right people at the right time, because you know what the world is going to do? The world is going to continue to put in front of you on a continuous basis all the reasons why you can't, all the reasons why it's impossible. And not even like, on purpose or, inadvertently, but like things like this that I have behind me. Like, today I choose happiness, work hard, stay humble, be kind, work hard. Like I need to see those, even if I'm not seeing it, it's in my peripheral every day. I wake up, there's things written on my mirror, like on my mirror right now, it says 1%. I want to be in the top 1% of anything I do.
I love it.
And so when I look in the mirror, I have to ask myself, is what I have planned today going to get me in the top 1% that I'm not there yet? Like in my jewelry business, I'm at the top 0.1%. So check, I've done that. But if I'm any new venture, I don't know how to
Let's go.
So what kind of lifestyle, what food am I going to put in my body? What kind of sleep am I going to have to get? What kind of people am I like going to be around? So long-winded, I know that was long-winded.
No, that was excellent. And then you even went into, which I'm all about, like the whole educator, because it's all about what are you doing with your body, with your mind, with your spirit. All of that is going to affect how you are in the classroom and in life in general. And so you would be surprised just by sleeping and eating the right thing. I'll say, even if I didn't realize that sleep is the foundation of health. Actually, I thought it was food. I thought it was working out. If you don't even start with sleep, it's a no-go from the get. But yeah, I digress. But yes, I could go on and on about all of those things. But I was listening to what you were saying, and it brought to my mind, you're right, the importance of mentors, and how I thought about when you said you need to choose someone that's where you want to be, and it helps you to press towards more. Because I heard this, someone say this one time too. They talked about, if you look around in your circle and you're like the highest one in your circle, you need to up your circle. You should not be the highest in your circle. So you need to up your circle and look for mentors who will bring you to another level. Because that's the cool thing. Like they have the blueprint, they've been through it, so they can just show you. Because if they already have the knowledge and they can show you, and like you said, and then they can see those blind spots and what you have going on, and they can show you like this is how you, like you said, you're gonna pay for it, but this is how you do it, and then there it is. This is how
Yeah.
you do it. Then let's just do it. But yeah, that information, the valuable, the really, really valuable information, you're gonna pay to get into those rooms. I think some people, it's only but the internet and some things will only get you so far. I think being in the presence of people that are there and being able to ask them the questions and something they just don't put out there like that. You're only gonna find in those certain rooms. So
Yeah.
that was
And
really
it's not even, sometimes it's their habits, it's the way that they what they're eating, how they choose to get to where they're getting to. Like I remember when I went to the mastermind and I stayed with she's a multi seven-figure earner. And she was like, hey, you can stay with me now. I realized the reason she wanted me to stay with her is because she was sick at the time and she needed physical help. But I was like, I'm going to stay for free.
Absolutely.
And the room we were staying in, I mean, the view was amazing. The windshield, the drapes, like automatic, just pushed a button and they went up.
Love it.
I was like, this is the life I want.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I didn't know that's the life I wanted until I experienced that. Yeah. And those are the kind of things she wakes up like this all the time. Like this is a norm for her. But there was a time when that wasn't her norm. Absolutely. And she was invited to be with somebody who was doing things that was their norm. And it elevates you to like, you deserve that too. If that's what you want. Like everybody doesn't care about, but you have to know what you want, Absolutely. And if where you're at is where you want to be, then perfect. Like that's absolutely, and there's nothing wrong with being at peace where you're at and wanting more. What I found, or what I've read about and what I agree with is that if there is something that keeps tugging at you for more, follow that. Yeah. Like that tug to do this, be here, be there isn't for anything. Like if you are, you're happy with your 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but you really want to be on 10 acres and a farm, and that keeps coming back to you, like no matter how happy you are in your current place, you just really have that feeling, then go for that.
Yeah, I love that. That reminds me of Ramit Sethi. I want to say that's his last name, but he did that show on Netflix about living your rich life. And he talked about and he has the book, I Will Teach You How to Be Rich. And he talks in there about what is your rich life, because everybody's is different. Exactly. But a lot of people, if you ask them what does your rich life look like, they don't even know. So yeah, I like that. Start there and then say, okay, so then now this is my rich life, what I think that I want. And then let's move towards that. Let's talk about what have been some of the challenges. What have been some of the biggest challenges that you've had in your business?
So my biggest challenge came after the pandemic. So the pandemic was good to me. Okay, I hate it, and I'm sorry for the people that it wasn't good for, but it was great for me and my team. We won financially really big during the pandemic. And I've been very blessed and fortunate, and I worked for it. And I'm throwing that part in, like it didn't just fall in my lap. I worked for it and earned it. Absolutely. That every year in business, I made more money for the last 10 years than the previous year.
It's amazing.
After the pandemic, I did not. And I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. And making the hard decision about what to do. And I tell people like, and it was, I definitely talked about like not caring about people say, but I'm human. And there are times that I do care about what, it crossed my mind, like, what are people going to think? Now, the good, I will say the good thing is I have that thought and then I'll be like, forget them. So it's not the thought happens, but then I get over it. So I have to talk myself through that. So it's not that the thought doesn't happen. Like, well, people are going to think, because like getting the job, I have a job. I'm employed by, somebody else right now. Right. And so like people are going to think that we struggling, and they're going to think that, I'm not making as much as and I had to go back and get a job. Like that crossed my mind. I was like, screw them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like really screw, like who and I'm just thinking statistically, They live in
Mm-hmm.
check to check. Like statistically,
Come on, you are
people that I'm
correct.
concerned about are living check to check. Like that's what I can tell myself. And
You're
I
right.
don't know who these, who these people
No.
are. I just know
Yeah.
statistics says
Yes.
that they're living check to check. So whether
Yes.
they're making $1 million and living check, because millionaires do live check to check too.
You are correct. Yes.
Figure earners do live check to check too.
Yes.
People who make $35,000, like across the board.
Yes.
People are living check to check. And I'm like, so I'm concerned about what they. Okay, so get the job, Christy. And honestly, the job was more so because like I built some people call it she shed. It's better than the she shed. It's almost 500 square feet. It's like an office in my backyard.
That's amazing.
And I was waking up every day and coming out here as if I was working, but I wasn't. I was literally just sitting here like I just couldn't. It was the first time in my life I just couldn't make myself work. I just couldn't, no matter what schedule I created, what things I was telling myself, like I just couldn't. And I've never been like that before. Like I've always been a big go-getter, hit the goals, knock out the park. Like, and I was just at a place after the pandemic that I just couldn't, and I didn't like it. And so I was like, cool, you've earned it. Like you still have money coming in, all your bills are paid. Like, just chill. And I had a hard time with that. I had a hard time. Like, I literally had to tell myself, you've earned it. It's okay. You've earned it. It's okay. You've earned it. It's okay. Like, you can lay across the couch. It's fine. You can come out to your office and not do anything. It's like, I really had to tell myself that. That was hard for me. And then part of the thing to make myself like get on a schedule was to get a job. I was like, I'm gonna get a job. I need to get out this house because I've been here for a year and I have like a year and a half and I haven't beat this. Whatever this is, I ain't beat it. So I'm gonna get a job that makes me have a routine. Something I could do in my sleep because it's not anything. I didn't want to learn anything new. So I didn't want to get a job where we're going to train you. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to learn. I didn't want that. I want something I could just show up on day one and doing bare minimum for what my bare minimum is would still be above the bar for what they expected, if that makes sense.
I do.
Right.
Yeah, I got you.
So that was has probably been the hardest thing for me in business, is not making more than I had, like not that upward climb. I'd always had the upward climb and not having that. And then now what do I do? Everything's, financially, like we're okay. I just don't understand the concept. That's just who I am of not doing better. That's good. Not doing better than the previous year. And so being comfortable with that and then going, the best thing I did was go get a job. I needed to get, I'd been in this house for a long time. And as much as an introvert as I am, or, not like being around people, had come a time where I needed to be around people. Like I needed to wake up every morning and life's great. I have gotten so much accomplished, but just going to work every day.
Yeah, that's good. I love that. And that was the cool thing about multi-level marketing or having a certain type of business where your business is still making money. It's not like you have to all the time on this wheel to make the money. It can run. It's running. You set it up where it's running. And I have finally earned the point of true residual income. It does exist, people. True residual income does exist. I'm a living example. It doesn't happen overnight, And the thing is, I will say this, that I have started something else, will the climb happen much quicker? Yes. But people may see this next climb as like happen overnight, but it's because the other one took 13 years, So nothing happens overnight, but true residual income is a beautiful thing. Yeah, that's amazing. It allows you to lay on the couch and tell yourself, it's okay, you've earned it. Yeah, listen. Making money in your sleep. What you say? Let's go. Yes. I love it. So I'm going to ask you this now. Looking back, is there anything that you would have done differently? The one thing I would have done differently was to set my goal higher. I would have hit it quicker. Wow. I just didn't
I just didn't know what I didn't know, which I do differently now. Like now, if I'm like, if my first thought is 10K, I triple it. Because
wow.
We set our bar low for a lot of things, like, oh, I'm just, I can only do the master's degree, right? Oh, why not go for the doctor? Like, why not? Now, I'm saying that for other people because I'm not going for the doctor. That's not my, I'm not.
Yeah.
But if that's your thing, then why not? That's what, if I had done anything different, like when I set the goal for 1,000, that's honestly, when I set that goal 13 years ago, I just didn't believe that 6 figures was even attainable. I just didn't believe it. I just didn't think a person like me. And I look back, I'm like, how could you not believe that, Christi? But I just didn't. I didn't. Nobody around me. Only people. I had my aunt who was a millionaire, and she had worked her way up to the corporate level of Frito-Lay, so like the chips and stuff. Corporate, and then she opened up her own business, a staffing agency, and had created her own staffing agency. So she was a millionaire. So it's not like I didn't have any, but I just didn't see. It was one of those things where she can because she has these skills. I'm a teacher. I ain't got those. You know what I'm saying? So it was always a side hustle mentality. Like I knew I could always make side money, but I just never even had the concept of it doesn't have to be side money. Like you could really make lifetime money. You could really make what doctors make. That was when I saw that how much I made was more than a superintendent. I was like, no way. I looked at how the superintendent's schedule. Like they got to be at football games. They got to go to the county meetings. They have to be the face in the county that they live in at the mayor meeting. Yeah, that's what you love to do. Like that's just not how. I was always looking at the money. Yeah, like when I decided to become assistant principal, it wasn't because like I just have this love for being an assistant principal. It was because I looked at my assistant principal and I was like, I can do that. Like she makes how much? She makes $20,000 more than I'm making in this classroom, and I can do that. Yeah. So I make a plan to go do that, and then I got the assistant principal job. And there's definitely a difference between a person who can do it and a person who has a love for it. Yeah. You can see it, and I was a person who could do it, and I did it well. Like that's just not my. People say like absolutely, but love for it. Like my conversations are different than assistant principal who loved it, and I didn't love it, but I did check out. There wasn't anything I wasn't doing. Everything was checked. All the T's were, crossed. All the I's. It just wasn't a love. And what I do now with changing, I love the transition and transformation I see in people that I work with. That's beautiful. That the woman that I talked to 5 years ago who couldn't do a presentation, who wouldn't talk to strangers, now is teaching other people how to do presentations. And now is talking to strangers, and now is leading like that. I like, and I know that makes a difference in her household. I see how her husband talks about her, that he didn't talk about her that way before. Not that he was talking bad about her. It was just like the beam and the difference that confidence. Her. So that lights me up. So I love that. Did I answer that question?
That was great. That was so good. Yeah, you said because I asked you, what would you do differently? And you were like, set the bar higher. Yep. Set the bar higher. Like I love that. Yeah, I wrote that down. I said, okay. Because I do, like I have a certain number and I was like, okay, we're going to up that. Here we go. So where do you see your business going in the next 5 years?
Oh yeah, so I'm definitely going to be a multimillionaire in the next 5 years. That goes with the bar. I made in my business. I'm past $1 million in my 13 years. I love that. And I was literally having this thought today because you divide $1 million by 13 years. I think it might be $200,000 a year or something like that. I don't remember. It's 70,000. I don't remember. But whatever it is, like I clearly didn't make that every year. Like year one, I made like $200. So I clearly didn't make that average amount every year. But I hit the $1 million and I was like, if it took me 13 years with all the things I had to learn, with all the things I had to get over about like talking to people, or like I'd be in a grocery store and I'd see somebody with jewelry on and I'd had to like tell myself like, this person, you could make a 6-figure earner. And by them being a 6-figure earner, you would be a multi-6-figure earner. And are you going to keep you're scared of what they're going to think about if you say anything to them from changing their life? Like I would literally be in a grocery store having, and these conversations like literally take 2 seconds. But I'm literally in the line saying like, are you going to say something or not? Are you going, and now I don't even think about it. It's
Yeah.
muscle memory. Like if I see
Mhm.
it, I say it. And that's what the book I'm talking about says, that people always talk about discipline, and it's not, you don't have to have, you need discipline for 66 days. That's the average. A
Yeah.
person needs to be disciplined doing something for 66 days, and then it becomes a habit.
Habit, absolutely.
And it's muscle memory. It's just something that you do all the time.
Mhm.
So get caught up on, I need to be more disciplined. I need to be more disciplined. Just do it for 66 days, and then it's a habit. And it's not, discipline is not required anymore. It's just what you do. And that is where I'm at now, because I had to take years to build up to it just being what I do. That now, since it's something I just do, in the next 5 years, I will definitely be in the multi-millions. And it's not, and the thing is now, because for a long time, it was just about what I can make. My goal is not for, I know my millions comes because I'm gonna help people make 6 figures and multi 6 figures. And it's just the way that it works. The more people you help,
exactly,
it automatically comes back on you.
It does.
So that 5 years, I'm highly excited about these next 5 years and the stories that I'll be able to tell about the people's lives that I've changed.
Yeah, it's inspiring others, and it's the serving. Because if you have the right why, the right heart to serve, the money will come. The money will come. But you have that why. It's more, it's not just, hey, just trying to make all this money. Like, you really are invested in making people's lives better and changing. Like you said, you're changing now, this ripple effect, like changing generations. Because generational poverty is a thing, and so is generational wealth. So there it is. Yeah, let's go. This is so good. All right. So as we're getting close to wrapping it up, I want to ask you just any closing advice, or any advice that you would give to an educator, and they're like, hey, Christi, I know I have something special. I want to start a business, but I have like absolutely no idea what I'm doing. What advice would you give that educator?
I'd say create their avatar. And what I mean by avatar, you can literally just draw a stick figure, like a little head, like this little stick figure. All right. You're just going out to it. What do you want to be able to provide that person, and who are they? So is it a woman who's 35, who has 2 kids, who is a single mom, or are you only working with 2-parent households? Right? Pick your, because we get frustrated, you know what you want to do, you know who you want to help, or you know what you want to provide, but we want to give it to everybody.
Yeah.
And we're frustrated because everybody doesn't want it. But if you pick exactly who your person is, now, if you're going after your exact person, are there going to be other people who don't fit that, who are going to come and, buy or take part in what you have to offer? Absolutely. I mean, a prime example is the teacher's Oasis, right? Like, you have a target market that you are working for. So you're only, there might eventually, because you're going to go big and you're going to have all these followers, and people are going to come to you and say, hey, we want to offer your followers. And you're going to say, no. Because that's not who I'm serving.
Absolutely.
I am serving this group of teachers that have this kind of mindset, that have this. And here's the thing, it doesn't, 600 people that pay you $1,000 makes you a nice amount of money. But if you're trying to go out and share it with 100,000 people, then you never get the 600 that you need.
Yes.
And those 600 are going to have created and receive so much value from what you had to offer. They're going to bring in more people like them.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there are, like, for me, at this point, there are only a certain type of person. Like, when they start saying certain things, I'm like, you're not ready for what I have to offer yet.
Yeah.
And I'm doing a disservice to my community if I'm spending time trying to get you up to the thought process of where the people I work with are. Right. And so that would be my advice, is who is your for whatever you have to offer? Who are your target market? The age? What kind of conversations are these kind of people having on the weekends? Where can you find them at? Are they at the library? Are they at the beach? Are they at Walmart? Are they at, because if we're honest, there's 2 different kind of people at Target and Walmart. Those are not the same people. The people who are at Publix and Aldi might be the same people, but Kroger and Publix, those aren't the same people. I know, because I don't do Publix. I mean, I don't do Kroger, and I had to let Publix go. And that's, a whole nother stop for another day. But my husband loves him some Kroger, and I love me. But the reason I love Publix was the lighting. They have white light when you walk in. It's not dim and dirty and depressing. People are in there smiling. Like that's the kind of service that I want, right?
The atmosphere.
Different atmosphere. So my point to you is like, whatever you have to offer, where are your people at? You don't want to be going to share what you have to offer at a flea market when your people are the kind of people who shop at Macy's.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get frustrated and then you're going to try to give up on what you have to offer because you think nobody wants it. No. Mm-hmm. People want it. Yeah. You're just giving it and putting it in front of the wrong people. So that would be my advice. If you already know what you want to share with people, is then find out where those people are and then figure out how you can get in front of those people, whether it's a free way to get in front of them, whether it's, then you work your way up to getting in front of them by paying, and then you work your way in front of it by getting into influence. Like there's different ways to do it, but start with where you are and then beat it. This week you talk to one person, next, and it may not be next month, maybe next quarter you talk to 2 people. Mm-hmm. Or the quarter after that, now you talk to 3 people. Yeah. That eventually becomes 100 people. Mm-hmm. So, give yourself some grace, but within that grace, take action. Yeah. Do something.
Yeah. Move. What did MLK say? He said, if you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, he was like, just crawl, but just move, just keep going. I love that. All right. Any other parting words or advice or anything that's on your mind that you want to share?
I just want to say I am proud of you. There was never any doubt of mine. Like, I've been in a classroom with a lot of teachers. I taught in Abu Dhabi. I taught in Chicago, South Side. I've taught in rural Georgia. I've taught in, Metro Atlanta. I've taught a lot of teachers. I've led a lot of teachers, millions of women. And when you see something in somebody, right? And so I'm just glad that you see what I see in yourself and that you are sharing your light with others and that this is just the beginning. You are about to change the trajectory of a lot of people's lives just by showing up as your authentic self. Don't you let nobody ever, people will try to dim your light and you can't control them trying, but you can't control allowing it to happen. And so I am proud of you. And I want to thank you for allowing me to be on here at this stage. So when you blow up, mine's already on your YouTube. And keep doing great. The world needs you. You have a lot to bring to the table. And I know I said it, but I'll tell you, this is great. You are doing great things. And just by stepping out, if nothing else, you have already positively changed the trajectory of your children's future because they see you showing up authentically as yourself in your truth day in and day out. So keep doing great things. I'm here for it.
Oh, that means the world to me. Thank you. I'm not going to cry on the YouTube.
Me neither. Look, I've been holding back tears a couple times. I'm not a cry, I'm a thug.
Thank you so much. Because I mean, especially coming from you, because I have been on the sidelines. A lot of times I realize, especially when you're out there on social media and different things, you don't realize sometimes the impact that you have on people. And people are actually watching on the sidelines. They're seeing you. And I have been that person. Like I'm on the sidelines, like you go, girl. Like you are doing the thing. It's so inspiring. And it even inspired me to be like, wow, I can be an educator, but I can still build wealth and I can still, it's beyond that. I have more gifts and I have more talents to share, other than just in the classroom. So I mean, thank you for your inspiration. Thank you for being here and sharing your wealth of knowledge with us. Like this means the world to me. It means the world to me. I really appreciate you. Whew, that was beautiful. That made my day. That made my day. I really appreciate that. And then how can our audience, how can they connect with you? I want to make sure that we have all of your information so they can get in contact with you, your people who have that mindset and they're ready to go. They know I want to do the thing, Christi. I want to get in contact with you, work with you, pick your brain, all the things. How can we get in contact with you?
Well, I'm Christi Farmer everywhere. So Christi Farmer on Facebook, Christi Farmer on Instagram, Christi Farmer on TikTok. I think I have a lemon account too. So usually whatever automatically connects, I let it connect.
Yeah.
I'm on Christi Farmer on Threads. I think that's connected on there too. But my main platforms are definitely Facebook, number one, and then number two is Instagram, and number three is TikTok. But yep, follow me. I think I might be almost maxed out on friends on Facebook, but you can definitely follow and send me a message. Also, questions, you can send any questions. I don't have this number memorized, so let me pull it up.
Okay.
It is 651-505-2883. So any questions that you have for me, you can definitely shoot me a text at 651-505-2883. And I can filter you to wherever, resources or wherever you need to go. I'm Christi Farmer on YouTube too. So you can find me on YouTube at Christi Farmer. And yeah, that's just Christi Farmer. Find me.
We're going to put all the information in the description so you guys can go and you can connect with Christi. She can help you become that six-figure, multi six-figure, eventually multimillionaire, however high you need to take it or you want to take it. You dream big. She can help you get there. I have absolutely loved this time with you. Thank you.
Likewise.
You so much for being
so
here.
welcome.
All right, educators, remember, there is so much greatness in you. I hope that you know that. No, not only is the greatness for you, but it's for others. And you learned today that greatness can make you some money. So go forth and be great. I'll see you next time in the Oasis. Bye, guys.